About Gekishin Squadra video. Today we're going to be talking about the best skill order for every single character in every single situation. This is a comment that we got quite frequently, so we do have this one coming up for you guys here. If you guys enjoy the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. With that being said, Wise, let's get into it. Alright guys, so we're just going to go down the roster as we talk about this. So first up, it's going to be Goku, one of the easier ones to talk about, to be honest. But for Goku's skill order, it really depends on the game. So if you have a skill 1 buff game, you want to max Kamehameha first, and then for your skill order, you're going to go Kamehameha level 1, Meteor Hammer level 2, Kaioken level 3. Then you put points into Kamehameha and Meteor Hammer, but at level 7, you do not want to put a point into your Meteor Hammer or your Kaioken. Leave it at level 1, and at level 8, you can max Kamehameha and get your level 2 Spirit Bomb. The same concept will apply in non-skill 1 games, so if you don't have a skill 1 game, this is the best skill priority. And this is also the skill priority you would do if you have a Superstar game, is you max Meteor Hammer, because Meteor Hammer has a super short cooldown. It has 1/6 of the cooldown of Kamehameha. You can have 6 Meteor Hammers come out before you come out 1 Kamehameha. And these Meteor Hammers are very good for both securing objectives, securing minions, and also just securing kills, chasing people down, running out, being safe, mobility. There's a lot of value you can get out of this Meteor Hammer. And then every single time you use Meteor Hammer, you also get to keep Kaioken, so you'll get a lot of Kaioken uptime, because you're constantly having the short cooldown from Meteor Hammer. So it's the same concept. You go Meteor Hammer level 1, level 2, Kamehameha level 3, and then Kaioken level 4. You can also go Kaioken level 3 if you're not fighting a range lane where you need the Kamehameha to secure something. So in that case, you would go Kaioken at level 3. And then same concept, you just keep putting points in your Kamehameha, Meteor Hammer, and Spirit Bomb when you can. But at level 7, wait, don't put a point into Kamehameha. And at level 8, you'll be able to max out Meteor Hammer and get level 2 Spirit Bomb, which will be the best way to go ahead and do that. Some games, if there's a possibility, what you can do is, if there's a skill 1 buff game, what you want to do is at level 8, you don't want to put a second point into Spirit Bomb, and you'll put 1 point into Kamehameha, 1 point into Meteor Hammer at level 8, max out both of those, and then at level 9, you can get your level 2 Spirit Bomb. That's another thing you can do if that is a skill 1 boost game, so where you can get maxed Kamehameha and Meteor Hammer at level 8. Reason for that is because at level 8, having those maxed out makes a very big difference. It makes your farming a lot faster. It makes your ability to secure kills a lot faster. So those are the reasons that you want to do this skill order for Goku. So with Vegeta, the skill order is very similar. You want to max skill 1 if there's a skill 1 buff, but his primary skill that's the best in his kit is his skill 2. So if you have a skill 1 buff game, you'll max skill 1, then skill 2, then skill 3. However, if it's not a skill 1 buff game, what you want to do is max skill 2 first, because his Proton Bomber is his best ability. It's his grouping. It helps him farm. It helps him do a lot of things. And then you max skill 3 next, because his Explosive Wave knocks him back very far away. So it's a very good escape tool and a very good defensive tool. And it also gives him a lot of his armor for the enemies that he hits. That is pretty much all you do on Vegeta. You go 2, 3, 1. And then if you're in lane, then starting off, it's the same process. At level 2, you get Photon Bomber. At level 3, you get Explosive Wave. At level 4, you can either put 2 points into Photon Bomber or go for Energy Blast. It depends on if you're fighting a ranged person. If you're not fighting a ranged person, the level 2 on the Photon Bomb is better, because then it means they're melee and you're able to group them into the Photon Bomber so they can't run away as easily. But if they're ranged, you want to grab the Energy Blast so you can try to hit them from farther away. But Energy Blast will always be typically your last one you max, unless it's buffed for that game. But that's it for Vegeta. Now, one of our specialty characters here, Mr. Krillin, definitely has a very unique pattern here for his skill leveling. So for him, what you want to do is you want to always grab Energy Mines at level 2, and at level 3 you want to grab Scattering Energy Wave. These two skills have very good synergy with each other, because once they're marked by Energy Wave, the Scattering Energy Wave, or once they're marked by the Energy Mine, the Scattering Energy Wave attracts them, so you get a lot more damage out of it. And the reason that you want to do this is because at level 4, you're not going to get Solar Flare. The only time that you max Solar Flare early game is if you're fighting somebody who's constantly destroying your bombs and you're not able to have bomb placement. Typically, if you just know how to do bomb placement, you don't have to worry about that. You just have to have game sense to know, hey, this skill can destroy my bombs. I should wait to put my bombs after this skill comes out. So as long as you're doing that, you don't typically need Solar Flare until late game. And what you want to do is you want to just keep putting points into Energy Mine and Scattering Energy Wave, and you just never put a point into Solar Flare. So what happens is level 2, you get Energy Mine. Level 3, you get Energy Wave. Level 4, you get another point into Energy Mine. Level 5, you get your Destructo Disc. Level 6, you get another point into Scattering Energy Wave. Level 7, you don't get anything. And then level 8, you'll get Max Bombs and Max Energy Wave. And then you just have the synergy of these two, because this smoke covers a lot, and this Energy Mine will also do a lot of damage. The reason you don't get level 2 Destructo Disc is because a lot of your damage doesn't come from Destructo Disc until it's level 3. And also with the cooldown nerf on it, you don't get to use it as much. Whereas Scattering Energy Wave and Energy Mines have a much shorter cooldown, so you get a lot more value out of them. And then after that, you can start putting points into Solar Flare and ult when you can. But this is the main way you play Krillin, is you want to max out skill 1 and skill 3 as soon as possible. Now we have the GOAT, Mr. Piccalo here. So for Piccalo, his skill order is skill 1 is his best skill. So you max this one first always. You put points into your ultimate when you can. The second skill to max with Piccalo really depends. If you're getting dove a lot and they're putting a lot of divers, you want to max skill 3 as your second skill. That way you can have more stretchy arm range to get away. But if you're not getting dove a lot, then you can go ahead and max skill 2 to kind of lock down people. They both kind of do the same thing, where skill 2 can kind of lock people down and they can't come close to you. So it's the same concept, but this one helps you escape more if you're getting dove. This one stops the divers from getting close to you in the first place. But they can also just run through these mines and just not care. So I would say probably if you're trying to play defensive, max skill 3 second. But if you're not trying to do that, then you can just go full damage and max skill 2 second. But that is it for Piccalo. It's very straightforward. Now, Gohan is, again, a very interesting hero. For Gohan, you want to max skill 1 first if it's buffed for that game from the Divine Draw always. And when it's not buffed, you can choose between skill 1 or skill 2 to which one you want to max first. If it's something where you need to secure, like you need to secure bosses, you don't have a secure lane, whatever your other DPS is. If your other DPS doesn't have like a strong secure, you want to max Masenko first so you can help secure things. Otherwise, you max skill 2 for the utility of the stun and also the no abilities. Skill 3, you always max last, so it'll always be either skill 1 or skill 2 first, but it just depends on do you need secure or do you not need secure, or if skill 1 is buffed. So in those situations, if skill 1 is buffed or you need secure, you max skill 1 first, then skill 2, then skill 3. But if you don't need the secure, then you max skill 2, then skill 1, then skill 3. And then you'll max your ultimate when you can. Dabura is another one that is pretty straightforward, very similar to Krillin. So for Dabura, his Darkness Spear is very strong. However, if you're able to just keep them locked down, you don't need it as much. Because the main way that you can lower Dabura's Petrify is by vanishing out. So what you want to do on Dabura is you want to take 1, 2, 3 off the bat, always. The reason for that is Doomray and Evil Flame are his best sources of getting petrified. Darkness Spear stops them from being able to vanish. If they can't vanish, they can't get out of the petrification. That's why you always do want to get 1, 2, 3. And then after that, you just want to max skill 1 as soon as possible, and then skill 3. And then the way we do that is by not putting a point into anything at level 7. We save that skill point so we can go ahead and get skill 1 maxed out at level 8 when we also get our level 2 ultimate. And then at level 9, you'll have skill 1 and skill 3 maxed out, but your Darkness Spear will be level 1, which is not a problem. So you do always max skill 1 and skill 3 first on Dabura, but at level 7, you want to skip a skill point, not put it into your skill 2, because that's what it's going to force you to put it into. But if you just wait a level, you will be able to just put that into skill 1 at the next level and max it out. And that's the best way to do Dabura's skill order. Alright, next up is going to be Kale. Kale's skill order is also very, very similar to some of the other characters we've seen here. Kale's skill 2 is not very strong. It's the least strong skill in her kit. And it's so weak to the point where you basically don't need it. So on Kale, what you want to do is you never put a point into skill 2 until you have to. So what you want to do is you want to get Blaster Shot, 1 point at level 2. Then level 3, you put a point into Energy Sphere. Level 4, you get another point into Blaster Shot. Level 5, you get Ultimate. Level 6, another point into Energy Sphere. And level 7, you don't put a point into Charge Force at all. Skip it. Then at level 8, you get Max Blaster Shot and level 2 Ultimate. Level 9, you'll get your Max Energy Sphere. And then you can start putting points into Charge Force. The reason for that is because Kale's base kit is heavily front-loaded into this Blaster Shot. This is her entire gimmick. You don't have this and this up, you should not be fighting. This is the only way she does anything in the game right now without her ultimate. And this does not help her with it at all. So you really just want to heavily focus these two skills, and that's the skill order you do. And even if skill 1 is buffed or max blast, you always want to max skill 1 first. Skill 1 is her entire kit. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Next up is Daima Mini Goku, who is very similar to Kale, but he also needs his other skills for things, so you don't skip points as much. So what you'll do for Daima Goku is, if there's a skill 1 game or a skill max game, you always max Pansy Bomb. Pansy Bomb is Daima Goku's best skill. It's the best thing in his kit besides his ultimate. Now, with Pansy Bomb, it interacts with other skills as well, so you do need to max them. So you always want to max Glorio second, because Pansy Bomb plus Glorio is the best combo, and then Power Pole is the third priority. And what you'll do is, on level 7, you will skip a level up, and you won't put an extra point in on level 7, so you can get max Pansy Bomb and level 2 ultimate at level 8, and then you can just do standard leveling where you level your skill 2, then your skill 3. The reason for that is so you can get Pansy Bomb maxed out faster, otherwise you'd have to wait until level 9 to do it. But if you can just do it at level 8, that'll make you able to snowball a lot harder because you'll have max Pansy Bomb a little bit. Next up, we have Mr. Young Baby Body. So for Young Baby, his skill possession is his best skill. So you do typically want to max possession first, because this will allow you to not only give your teammates more life steal, but also recover more HP when you possess them. You max your ultimate whenever you can. You do want to level all 3 of Baby's skills. So you always want to grab possession. You grab possession at level 3 because it doesn't help you clear faster, so you don't want to grab it at level 2. And at level 2, you're going to grab the Finger Blitz Barrage because it does a little bit more damage and it's a shorter cooldown. So this will help you clear a little bit faster early. But as far as maxing goes, you'll max skill 3 and skill 2 because skill 2 will also help to lower the cooldown of possession. So you want to have this at as high as it can be so you can then get lower cooldown for possession to then move over and possess people again. So that is the skill order for Baby. Is at level 1 to level 4, you'll grab skill 1 at level 2, skill 3 at level 3, and then skill 2 at level 4, and then you're going to max skill 3, then skill 2. That is the best way that you can go ahead and level up Baby's skill order. Now we have Oob, which I think a lot of people play Oob incorrectly. A lot of people will max Rage Barrage on Oob, and they'll try to play around that. That is actually not the ideal case for Oob. Oob is a very chase down and peel character, so you want to max his dash first so he's able to peel better and chase people down better, because if you have his dash max, he has 3 dashes. So you want to go ahead and use that first, always. You also want to start off with this because this will help you clear and then also mobility the map better. So you always get this. And then if you're fighting a lane that has interruption to where you need the no obstruction effect, you grab skill 2 early. If not, you wait to get it later. Reason for that is because level 2 dashes will give you 2 dashes. So what you'll do is at level 2, you'll put pointer dash. Level 3, you put a point into Rage Barrage. And then at level 4, you either put another point into dash, or you'll put a point into Brutal Blast Buster if you need the anti-obstruction. If you don't need the anti-obstruction, you wait and you put that in later at level 6. But other than that, you pretty much just max Shooting Chaser first, then Rage Barrage, and then Brutal Buster last. And then ult whenever you can. Now we have Caulifla, and Caulifla is another one that is pretty straightforward here. So for Caulifla, what you want to do is you want to grab Storm Kick first, and then Blaze Dive second. These two synergize with each other because Blaze Dive does more damage to people that are provoked, and Storm Kick is the easiest way for Caulifla to get her provoke off. And then as far as maxing goes, you also always will max skill 1 and then skill 2 on her. Skill 3 is her late game move. This will protect her against close range and energy attacks, and then also give her movement speed up after attacking. So you do want to be very using this late game, but you don't need this as much early game. But you do still want to grab this. So you will go level 2 Storm Kick, level 3 Blaze Dive, level 4 Energy Release, and then you just max skill 1 into skill 2. You don't do anything fancy like skipping points for her. You just do a general leveling with her. Alright, now we're on Trunks' team. And for Trunks' team, you never put a point into Burning Attack until you have to. You max skill 1 and skill 2, especially skill 1, because skill 1 is his entire kit. So what you want to do on Trunks is level 2, Burst Sword, level 3, Vanish Strike, level 4, another point into Burst Sword. If there's a Cell Junior game, you could even argue that you want to put 2 points into Burst Sword before you even put a point into Vanish Strike, but that's very risky, because Trunks is squishy. So you do want to do that, and then you never put a point into Burning Attack, so at level 8, you'll max out both Vanishing Strike and Burst Sword, because you never put a point into Burning Attack. And that is also, you're not going to put a point into his ultimate at level 2, because even at level 2, his ultimate's not that strong. It's really only strong at level 3. So you can wait on that, and you can just max out Vanish Strike and Burst Sword and get the big buffs from them being level 3 at level 8. So what you'll do is level 2, Burst Sword, level 3, Vanish Strike or Burst Sword, level 4, whichever one you decided, you put the point into the other one. Level 5, Ultimate. Level 6, you'll put another point into Vanish Strike. Level 7, you will skip. And then at level 8, you'll max out both Burst Sword and Vanish Strike. That is the best way to do skill order for Trunks. Now we are on Android 17. And for Android 17, do you want to max Barrier Knuckle last? Because Barrier Knuckle at level 3 does not get that much stronger. And you really only use this thing if you're trying to get a stun. But you always max Barrier Ball first because Barrier Ball is a very good secure and it also does good damage and it also has debuff prevention. And Barrier Ball is the move that gets the strongest at level 3. It starts shooting 3 Barrier Balls. That is extremely, extremely better than what it does at level 1 and level 2. Then you max your Android Barrier for the movement speed as well as just the barrier and the range on it. Then you max Barrier Knuckle last. You don't ever skill points with 17. You do just go 1, 3, then 2. And then you just max skill 1, then skill 3, and then ultimate whenever you can. He's very straightforward. Very straightforward. Now, Cooler is one of the more complicated skill orders because he has a lot of different things he can do depending on the situation. So if you're playing Cooler and you don't have to peel for your carry, the carry can peel for themselves, like let's say you have an Oob, and you are able to just play aggressive, you want to max Death Chaser first because Death Chaser is a very good aggressive tool. It can split teams up. It does a lot of damage, and it has very strong, powerful skills. If skill 1 is buffed, you want to max skill 1 first, because obviously skill 1's buffed, it does a lot of damage when it's buffed. And then, if you are somebody who needs to protect your team, you want to max Death Stopper first, because Death Stopper at max level is very big, and it just has a lot of value. Like, look at how fucking massive that is. So, if you are trying to protect your team, you want to max skill 2 first. If skill 1 is buffed, you max skill 1. Or if you need to secure, that's another thing. If you need secure, like it's a Cell Junior game, you max skill 1 first as well. And then if you're trying to play for like a kind of a solo carry kind of playstyle, then you'll max Death Chaser first. So it all depends on that. But as far as his initial skill order goes, it will also always go skill 1 into skill 2 into skill 3. But then it just maxing it depends on what kind of game you have. So that is what you have to keep in mind with him, and always take your ult whenever you can. Now Gammas are one of the ones that are very interesting because if you max out skill 1 or skill 2 and you lose one of your Gammas, you could lose access to that skill. So you have to be very careful with that. Skill 3, the Gamma Blaster Full Burst, is also very strong when you're using close range. And skill 3 is very important for them because skill 3 lets them animation cancel skill 1 and skill 2. So you do always want to grab 1, 2, and 3. And you'll want to grab 1 and 2 first so you can switch between your Gammas, and then you grab 3. As far as maxing, the best one to max is Gamma Strike. That's the one that does the most damage and has more uses. So you always want to max Gamma Strike first, and then Gamma Impact, and then Gamma Blaster, and then Ultimate whenever you can. That is the best way to do skill order for the Gammas. Now for Zamasu, shout out to Zamasu who helped me with the skill order for him. So for Zamasu, you'll want to take skill 1 at level 2 to farm before the Kai. Then you take skill 2 at level 3. Then once you have your full kit at 4 to 5, you want to prioritize skill 1, then skill 3, Ultimate whenever you can, and skill 2 last. The reason for that is because skill 1 has mobility reduction and also just does a lot of damage. So you want to be able to prioritize this, especially if skill 1 is buffed. This is very good for Zamasu. Then skill 3 is because it applies continuous damage. So that will continuously damage the enemies and also make it to where they're not able to get into a full sprint and run away from you. The reason we max skill 2 last is just because it just does not have a lot of value right now because people can stun you out of this and it also can just not hit. It's very easy to avoid, so that's why you want to do that. And then again, ultimate whenever you can. Next up, we have Android 18. For Android 18, you want to max your Axel Dash first because at max Axel Dash, she has 5 dashes, which is absolutely insane. And then her second skill to max depends really on what kind of lane you have. If you have a lane where they're playing range characters, you want to max Destructo Disc so you can try to secure with it. But if they're playing melee characters, you want to max Lightning Step so you can go ahead and get more value out of that because that's more of a close range move. So that's how you would want to do the priorities there. And at starting out, you'll take Axel Dash, then you'll take Destructo Disc, and then you'll take a Lightning Step. The reason for that is because Axel Dash already gives you a melee option, Destructo Disc gives you a ranged option, and then you can take Lightning Step at level 4. You don't need to skip any skill points further, just max Axel Dash first, and then go for whichever one you need between Lightning Step and Destructo Disc, depending on the game. Next up here, we have Mr. Perfect Cell. And for Perfect Cell, it is a very interesting thing here. So Perfect Cell's main tankiness comes from his skill 3, but his main damage comes from skill 1. Skill 2, you don't really need to max because skill 2 gets a lot of value regardless of being maxed. So skill 2 is never the one that you max. If skill 1 is buffed, you would want to definitely max skill 1 first. However, if skill 1 is not the buff skill, I would say you should max skill 3 first because skill 3 is what gives Cell a lot of his tankiness. So if you don't have that, Cell will die very easily, especially early game. So you want to max skill 3 first, and I would even say maybe take something like Easy Life on the early game to try to make Cell survive better. His early game is very important for Cell. His early game is very weak, but he can get a lot stronger late game. So I would say skill 3 into skill 1, then skill 2. Unless skill 1 is buffed, then you take skill 1 into skill 3, then skill 2. Now we are talking about the assassin from Universe 6, Hit himself. First Hit, you do need all 3 of his skills. So you'll go skill 1 into skill 3 into skill 2. That is a skill order. And as far as maxing, it's going to be the same thing. You don't need to max skill 2 because skill 2 gets the same value whether it's max or not. But skill 1 gets a lot longer range when it's maxed out, and skill 3 gets a lot more duration when it's maxed out. So you want to max skill 1, then skill 3, then skill 2, and you don't want to skip any points for him. You just go in order of that, and ultimate whenever you can. Next up, we have the Majin Menace, and for the Majin Menace, so you don't need to max Buu's healing until later parts of the game. Buu's healing does not scale with the level. The only thing that changes when you level it is how many people you can heal. So you don't need that max until late game, so you just need the 1 point in it. Strangle Gum is very good as well, and Ready Go is a very good mobility ability. Typically, you want to max Ready Go first, because Ready Go is how you get out, and that's his only escape tool. It's also a very good destructive tool, trying to split up the enemy team. Strangle Gum is typically the one you max last, because Strangle Gum, as good as it is not that compared to the other two. And then Healing Ray you'll max second, because by the time you max out Ready Go, you'll be around that mid game where you're going to be around your team more, so you want to be able to heal multiple people. Next up, we have Mr. Frieza. And Frieza is probably one of the shittiest characters. So it is what it is. But for Frieza's skill order, the best one to max is Zarbon, because Zarbon gets very high range when he's maxed out, so you want to max him out first. And that is his primary damage source as well. Dodoria is very good at Disruptive, but you don't need to max him out for that. So what you want to do is you might max out Zarbon, then you want to max out Dodoria, then you want to max out Imperial Decree. Imperial Decree is also very strong. Supernova whenever you can. That's pretty much it for Frieza. You don't really want to skip skill points for him. You just want to try to get your minions maxed out and then have them buffed with Imperial Decree and try to do what you can with that. Boujack, the Galactic Assassin. So for Boujack, what we are going to be maxing is Galactic Buster. That is the best kit, the best thing he has in his skill, including his ultimate. The Galactic Buster is the best thing about Boujack. Then after Galactic Buster, you want to max Cosmic Plume because that gives you a lot of burst damage. And I would say you probably skip points in Bojack's ultimate just to get 1, 2, and 3 maxed out first. You don't even need to grab Bojack's ultimate. It's not good for secure. It's not good for team fights. It's only a nerf if you grab it. So just skip Bojack's ultimate entirely. Max out skill 1, then skill 2, then skill 3 as soon as you can, and grab Bojack's ultimate as a last priority, because until it's level 11, you basically don't need it. So just go 1, 2, 3, don't bother grabbing ultimate whenever, and you're going to be good to go on Boujack. Alright guys, that was every character in the game. That is the skill order for every character in the game. With that being said, this is Kaizer, signing out.